I'm Nancy Adair, and I grew up at Mulberry Hollow, this side of Stillwell. My mother's name was Ida Coon Adair, and my dad's name was Bill Adair. I had 6 brothers and 3 sisters. We'd play hide and go seek and skip the rope and everything like that, and run through the woods playing. we never was hardly at home through the day. We'd always be off playing somewhere. We had a swimming hole. It was just in front of our house a ways. There was a place down there that we could swim, and there was a spring down there where we used to carry our water from. We used to get commodities, and she'd put her butter in a jar and put in it water, keep it cold, and stuff like that. We used to get our biscuits and go down there and eat her butter. My mom and dad used to speak Cherokee to us. It was just, where we was going to school, we learned English and stuff, and but they'd speak both Cherokee and English to us both. I know at our house that my mom used to sing to us in Cherokee, and she'd always pray in Cherokee, and we did have it pretty rough back then, but seeming like we was happy, you know. It didn't bother us. Mulberry, there was a school down there called Mulberry School. It was probably about half a mile from where we lived. We used to have to walk back and forth to school. We used to go out, and during the season that wall onion and mushrooms and poke was up, we'd have to go out and get it. So we'd eat that during that season. And we'd have gravy and beans, potatoes, chicken. We raised our own chickens so we could kill them. My mom used to make them what she called ball bread. Them used to be good. And bean bread. She'd put beans in her cornbread and stuff, and that was good. I liked stuff like that. Cornmeal, you roll it in balls, and sometimes you can put beans in it or just cook it plain, but you have to have your water real hot and put it in there and let it cook. And she used to make she'd get cabbage leaves, and she used to put like sausage, or mostly sausage because we never did have hamburger meat hardly, and put different kind of stuff in it, and she'd roll it up, and she'd tie it with strings and stuff, and she'd cook it. Kids nowadays don't like stuff like that. They rather have pizza and hamburger meat and stuff like that. I said that's why we were healthier back then, because we didn't have stuff like that to eat. And my mama used to always make knuckle. I remember seeing her. There was a big old stump. Well, it was at her neighbor's house, a big old stump, and it had a hole, and it was a smooth hole in there where they had fixed it. And she'd get out there and get her hickory nuts and start pounding them. The goodies. It was the goodies that she got. She'd get them in there and she'd pound them like this till they got really, really fine. And then she'd get them and she'd roll them into balls like this, so we'd have knuckle. This Indian lady that lived down there, everybody called her Granny. And she was a medicine woman, and we'd go to her and she'd give us medicine and stuff. I remember one time I had a sore on the back of my leg, and she used some kind of leaf or something, some kind of leaves, and put it on there and draw the pus and stuff out of it so it'd heal. And then she'd sometimes when I noticed when people would go down there, she'd stand there by them, and like if it was winter time, she'd warm her hand and put it on their heads, or she'd spit in her hands and go like this and go on their heads. And it seemed like that everybody went down there to her, even people from other places. I had this brother that he was, well, it wasn't what you call mean. I guess he was just ornery. He's the one that used to get us in trouble. He'd make us, sometimes he'd put a ladder against the house, and he'd tell us, y'all climb up there and set up there on the roof. And just like dummies, we'd climb up there, and here he'd move the ladder and wouldn't let us get down. And well, our roof wasn't really high off the ground or anything. Then we'd have to jump off. They'd make us swing across the road on a grapevine and everything. We just had, I guess, fun back then. Me and this one friend, we decided to smoke grapevines one time, and it burned our lips. They kept asking us what happened. Finally, we told them, here we got a whooping for smoking. And we used to get them berries off of them poke salad, after they got big and stuff. Here we'd really put on our fingernails and our lips like we had makeup on. We'd get like paper dolls. We'd cut the pictures out of catalogs and stuff to have paper dolls. At the school where we went to, they'd have pie suppers to raise money for Christmas. The teachers would bring catalogs, and we'd look through the catalog and see what toy we was wanting and everything. We was at least getting 2 toys from the school. Christmas, my mom made sure that that we had stuff, but it wasn't like big Christmas like now, like you have your turkey and ham and stuff like that. Usually at our house we had beans and fried potatoes. We'd chase each other around out there, or we'd get out there and climb trees, and we just done everything out there. Throwed rocks at each other. My sister's got a scar. Well, she had a scar right through here. She was hiding behind this log, and her and my brother was throwing rocks at each other. Boy, she raised her head up. About that time, he let loose of a rock and hit her right here in the forehead. He sure got in trouble for that, too. She used to get her own switch to use on us. It was just, and it seemed like she got the one that hurt the most. It was usually whenever you done something real wrong, they'd spank you and switch you, and it actually back then it wasn't really what you call real bad, but they made you understand that you don't do it again, and I think I learned my lesson after one time. I just sit back and think about stuff like that sometimes. Just think sometimes I wish I was back there again.